A horror film when I was 12 called 28 Weeks Later. It was amazing, yeah. I injured myself twice on set. It was in like a bite scene, so like...
You were in there. Damn.
Yeah.
Speaking of known things, your mother happened to work on a little short indie movie called Barbie recently.
We went over to Los Angeles for the Oscars recently, against the jet lag. Like I remember my mum sort of, back and forth working like 16 days in a row. I can't count the amount of times you lose confidence in yourself, and then everything seems, and you think about like what else you could have done, but no, you just got to remain steadfast with that.
You are now tuned in to the Tokyo Diaries podcast. Sensational.
Welcome guys, welcome to the Tokyo Diaries podcast. I'm your host, Jenkinson Denzel Southern, aka Mav the filmmaker. Today we have a sensational guest, truly. Mack Muggleton. My man.
How's it going, man?
Good to meet you. Now we've gone way back. For all of 15 minutes I've known you, and it's been fantastic. Mack, please tell the audience how we actually met.
Well, I was literally coming out the door with a cigarette, and then you were like, "Oh, you want to come be on a podcast?" I was like, "Sure."
Yes. There's a lot more context. We were locked out, didn't know we were going to get in today, and we start talking about Oscars, and there's a lot of stuff that Mack goes into that we'll let him go into, but you'll see why by the end of this episode why I invited him on. Was just a random person. But Mack, first question: What do you do? How do you move to London? And how do you survive in this mad city? Would you say?
So I'm an actor, and I've been sort of doing that since I was 12, but technically with a massive break in between. Where I was a cocktail bartender for a long while. Yeah. But I've lived in London my whole life. Yeah. And sort of based out of South London. Yeah. But I also DJ as well. But and then otherwise I work in a deli. So,
stop it, really?
Yeah. Got to earn that money.
I've noticed about actors, there's always like these side jobs that they have as well on the side. But you're being modest. What was the first job you had when you were 12 years old as an actor, would you say?
So I was in a horror film when I was 12 called 28 Weeks Later.
Yes, the iconic horror film that we all know. What was that? Do you remember much from that experience? Or?
Yeah, I remember the whole thing. I had really long hair at the time, and they came to my school. I got a little slip saying, "Come to an audition." Yeah, and then 5 auditions later, and I'm sitting in the room across from one other kid, and they gave me the job. But it was amazing. I injured myself twice on set as well. I had a prosthetic shoulder, got it ripped off me by another actor.
Really?
And it was in like a bite scene, so
you were in there. Damn.
Yeah. So and I screamed, and that's pretty authentic scream.
Is it just me, or is it pretty predatory for a student to come to a school saying we need some kids?
Is it no, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah. So how do they? I don't. Maybe you didn't know, but how do they actually pitch it to the school and all the parents?
So they just walked around. I think they approached the faculty, and then and basically a load of us got a little slip at the end of the day. They walked around. We didn't even notice them coming around, and come to this audition, and then parents were like, sure, like take a day off school. That's what I was mainly happy about. So look at an actor like as well, Paul Mescal, who before he did normal things, he was he'd done an advert about sausages, which I loved.
It just takes one, innit? That's the crazy thing, because people, it's so hard, and I think even as a director, it's like if you just get like the film I Hate You Lucy Drew, that shot with Kathy in the elevator. Yeah, I love that. Where it's like the money shot, the one shot. Yeah. Like I told Emma, I was just like, that's the one money shot. Like take the most arrogant Hollywood mogul, put him in a room and give him that shot. It's like, who did this? Who are these people? They're interested, right? Yeah. And as an actor, it's like I need that one scene or that one shot or that one thing to make someone give a damn about me.
Exactly. And you sometimes when you're actually shooting and you feel that moment,
you feel it,
and you're like, and sort of kind of, but I think one of the best feelings is when you see the director like fucking jumping down excuse me, like behind camera, and they're kind of like, and you see him like sort of do like
you can see all the trailers in his head already,
and you're just going like, and you got to keep composed for the scene, but you're watching it and you see the director go like that, and you're kind of like still kind of trying to save face, but that's no better feeling, to be honest.
Speaking of known things, your mother happened to work on a little short indie movie called Barbie recently. First of all, generally, when was that shot? What was that whole experience like? And did you get to go on set or be around any of the award shows around it? Or
I think it was shot maybe like end of 22 going into 23. I'm not entirely sure of, because it was like a long production process, but no, I never went on set. Like, never got to explore it or anything like that. But I think I was offered, but I was sort of in my own world at the time. But no, like I remember my mum sort of, back and forth working like 16 days in a row, and like 16 hours a day. It was quite a process. But I mean, like that's sort of the industry at the end of the day. And I mean, like they all did an incredible job,
So what was her role on the film?
And so my mum was a production designer.
And for people who don't anything about the film industry, production designers do...
they do the sets and the locations.
So the Barbie dream house, she had a hand in that. Wow.
Yeah. That was done by my mum.
Wow.
But yeah.
Does that not feel like, does that not hit was like you see that on buses, on billboards, and
it's
toys?
A weird feeling, it's quite weird. Surreal. Yeah.
And your mum's first name is?
Sarah Greenwood.
So just like, Sarah did, my mum did that. That doesn't like hit, or is it?
It is a bit of it's a funny one, especially when some people come up and, there's a lot of people. When we went over to Los Angeles for the Oscars recently, hence the jet lag.
Yeah, it's all right.
But unfortunately she did lose, but I mean, it was up against some amazing other films. But still, it was incredible because we went to Art Directors Guild's panel where all the films were discussed and people got to meet, and you do genuinely see a lot of kind of young upcoming people who are very interested in the art department and learning and everything like that. You walk down and you jump in from one event to another, and mixed with sleep deprivation and jet lag, you just kind of, it feels like a dream, almost as you're going through it. But it was incredible.
So you're telling me you got to see John Cena almost? I
did, yeah.
What was that like live in person?
It was interesting.
It was something.
Yeah. I thought it was hilarious, to be fair. But gotta love John Cena, and he's in good shape as well.
He ain't in bad shape.
No,
he hits the gym. He does his cardio. You see that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Mac, I think people looking at this be like, my lord, this guy is so accomplished. He's achieved so much.
No, not at all.
What would you say are some of the tips or things that you follow that have helped you navigate this wild world of filmmaking, that have helped you persevere through the many hard times, really, for people trying to get into it, you'd say?
I think the one thing is to always remain kind of confident, in yourself, because there's a lot of moments when you sort of don't believe that you're good enough. You may have a string of auditions that don't go your way, but it's not anything like that. If you believe in what you're doing, then you can actually achieve incredible things.
Yes.
and it all seems very weird, kind of like all the kind of glitz and glam of it, but end of the day, going on set is the best thing. It's the most rewarding thing. And just don't lose faith in yourself, I guess. And always kind of have that main mind frame where you're kind of going okay, next, what's I've got to keep going, because I can't count the amount of times you know, you lose confidence in yourself, and then everything seems, and you think about like what else you could have done. But no, you just got to remain steadfast with that, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And as someone who's rubbed shoulders with a lot of rich, famous people, what your eyes just rolled there for a second. So what are some things that maybe something that people don't know? Because I know that a lot of them are just human, and a lot of them are really shy once you get to know them. But what are some things that, say, other actors are like, okay, well, how do I get to on a 28 weeks later, or this or that? Like, any things that you've seen, or
I mean, like to be honest, there is the whole facade that like all these people are sort of at a distance, out of reach, kind of like idea, and but end of the day, they are just the exact, like, they're normal people. They're just sort of doing what they love and everything, and they've just sort of pushed like to that like point, you know, where they've sort of hit a lucky break, or they've become massively talented, you know. Like I was lucky enough when I was in LA to briefly meet Donald Glover, who was lovely.
just casually? Yeah.
Just casual.
Yeah, Donald. Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah. But he was the nicest guy, and super friendly, complimentary, and like asking how you, all these questions, sort of like, and you know, just when you kind of realize that, you know, they're just normal people and they're sort of doing their own thing, like that's the best, you know.
Last question, because I want you to get to work and not get fired, because then if not, then I have to be responsible for the bills moving forward. What is something that you worked hard to overcome, you'd say, recently, and what is something looking forward that you want to do, whether it's work on be the lead in a project, or just even something even personal in your life, whether it's inner confidence or finding more time to have your own personal free time, like something you're aspiring for and something that you're glad you've already achieved?
I'd say I feel very grateful for being able to jump back into acting, and sort of like the amount of help from friends and everything like that. Like you know, I've got a lot of great mates from drama school who've helped me, and like, you know, the amount of support, that's sort of what's been the absolute kind of like smooth sail about it all. Like I've loved it, all the help. But I mean, going forward, like just to keep kind of doing what I do, like, you know, it's a dream to do it, and sort of just step away from sort of the daily chores, and actually just be able to focus on a career that I actually love. You know.
Well, I live in London, by the way. Yeah, the most cheapest place to live in the country. It's how are you managing that, my friend? It's good. Very expensive. You know, London is not cheap. But I do. This is my home. You know, I love it here. Home is home. There's no place like home, man.
Exactly.
Mack, thank you so much for coming on the podcast,
right,
man. Pleasure.
No worries.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Mack, where can they find you on Instagram, social media?
So my Instagram is Insomnimac, which is also my DJ name. But so you can find me on there, like as well. I think all my profiles are linked to that or whatnot. But
amazing.
Who knows?
Amazing. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in or for listening on Spotify. And as always, Tokyo Diaries Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Tokyo Diaries Podcast. Our old one is gone. It got hacked. Side story.
Ouch.
You could. It was an owie for sure. You can find me at Mav the Filmmaker, MAV the Filmmaker, or at Maverick Studios. And thank you so much for watching. And as always, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling sensational. Mack, how are you feeling?
Sensational.
You're a classic, my friend. Thank you. See you next week, guys.